Hello students, myself Miss Rachna Jain, Associate Professor, Department of English, Government PG College, Rajgarh, Alwar. Today in this video lecture, I am going to describe you the critical appreciation of the poem A Prayer for My Daughter, written by W.B. Yeats. This is my 8th video lecture on this poem. Now, I describe you some points which I will discuss with you. The first point is introduction to the poet. W.B. Yeats is an Anglo-Irish poet. He belonged to a Protestant family. Yeats spent his boyhood in his mother's native country of Sligo. This wild and beautiful country in northwestern Ireland forms a background to much of his poetry. He actively took part in the Irish political and national movement led by Parnell. Yeats disliked the materialism of contemporary English culture. He sought his inspiration in Irish peasants, folk tradition, and ancient Celtic myth. Yeats was awarded by Nobel Prize for Literature in 1923. Next point is introduction to the poem. A Prayer for My Daughter was written in June 1919, soon after the birth of Yeats' daughter Annie Butler Yeats. This long poem of 10 stanzas was published in a collection of Yeats' poems entitled Michael Roberts and Dancer, 1921. In this poem, the poet prays for his daughter and wants that she should cultivate certain qualities of the mind and heart. Next point is development of thoughts. The poem begins with a description of violent storm raging outside his home. The poet's infant daughter is sleeping in her cradle, well covered and protected from the storm raging outside. The poet has been walking and praying for his daughter because there is a storm raging inside in his soul. The poet's mind is haunted with fear. He prays that his daughter may be granted beauty, but his beauty should not distract others. She should not consider beauty as an end in itself and reject, like Modgon, sincere evocation of love and marriage. Beauty should be accompanied with courtesy, intimacy, and reciprocity of love. Her soul, like the flourishing tree and linnets, should make others happy. The poet feels that on account of his own personal experience, he has never been free from the feeling of hatred. Yeats knows that intellectual hatred is the worst kind of hatred and a great flaw in character. He would therefore like to shun strong or stubborn opinions on any subject, political or otherwise. The poet cites the example of Modgon, who ruined her happiness in life because she chose a worthless husband. So if his daughter is free from intellectual hatred, she will enjoy inner peace and happiness. She will be able to keep others happy too. The poet prays that his daughter may be married in a good aristocratic tradition. It will be able to lead life according to aristocratic tradition, and it will be a life led according to high aristocratic values. Arrogance and hatred would be absent from such a house because only in the atmosphere of custom and ceremony can innocence and real beauty flourish. Arrogance and hatred is found in the common man. The aristocratic way of life is found in the custom and tradition. Culture preserves spiritual values. These values are preserved by ceremony and tradition. Next point is style of the poem. Although the poem is in the form of a prayer for his infant child, the poem incorporates the philosophy of faith and religion in the poem. This poem is a combination of future faith, vision, and personal experience. Yeats came across a number of beautiful women in his life, but his own personal experience with them was so disastrous that he was wary of the handsome women. So the poet prays for the personal attraction and beauty for his daughter, but this characteristic should not make her crazy. Yeats had seen Mordaunt quite closely and was a great admirer and lover of this woman, but she never cared for the poet's profession of love and married a worthless fellow named John McBride. Yeats reads his personal encounter with Mordaunt in the light of other historical events. The history of the world is full of the description of beautiful women who behaved indiscreetly. Helen of Troy eloped with the Prince Paris of Troy, and this led to the destruction of Troy. Venus, and goddess of youth and beauty, married a man, the lame iron smith of God. Thus Yeats sees his failure to win over Mordaunt in the perspective of the past and present. It appears that every time history repeats itself and every time a woman plays a disastrous role. Next point is an aristocratic bias. W.B. Yeats was biased towards aristocratic values because he came to believe that convention, heritage, and courtesy are ennobling qualities. His own experience inclined him to favor what is known as the big house tradition. He regarded aristocratic as the guardian of the values of spirit and traditional culture. Ceremony and customs are outward expression of this culture. His happy experience with Lady Gregory all the more convinced him of these values. The poet wants his daughter to cultivate some special qualities which are benefiting a woman. He attaches great importance to courtesy because it enables to win hearts of others. Even the women who were not beautiful were able to win the hearts of people. Yeats is repeating his own experience here because he married Mrs. Yeats and she was courteous lady. Next point is repugnance to narrow-mindedness. Yeats believed that if one is rooted in one's tradition, he can avoid hatred and arrogance. He writes in the poem, ceremony is name for the rich horn and custom for the spreading laurel tree. This was the path of self-fulfillment. The all-round development of human personality is possible only if we care for others' happiness and give up completely arrogance, prejudices, and opinionated attitude towards life. Here one is inclined towards the happiness of others. Yeats does not support the attitude of life which aims at self-aggregation and like an individual to grow in harmony with others, the society, nature, and the universe around. Next point is a profession of faith. This attitude towards life acquires the category of strong faith in W.B. Yeats. Such a way of life, which is a considerate, self-abrasive, and complete, is a mark of liberal men. It is more or less religious in attitude and professes certain moral ideals. Yeats does not pretend that it is a religious attitude. According to Stephen Spender, he does not convey any religious. Instead, we are offered an aristocratic faith. No attempt is made to formulate a high order of religious faith. The poet wants his daughter to cultivate some religious or more precisely practical virtues. He makes no attempt to teach and preach abstract morality. According to Edmund Wilson, the poet formulated an essentially non-Christian order whose keynote is a man's sense of his own nobility and self-sufficiency. Next quality is a romantic poem. A Prayer for My Daughter is a romantic poem. W.B. Yeats tries to recapitulate his experience, sad and tragic, and wants that his daughter should be free from the narrow-minded arrogance. Therefore, he wants that she should cherish noble virtues which are incorporated in the aristocratic way of life rooted in ceremony and custom. To a great extent, the poem is confessional, autobiographical, personal, and frank. We can see such tendency in many romantic writers. Although Yeats laid great emphasis on the tradition and conservative values of life in this poem and wanted that the life of his daughter should be rooted like a tree in these traditions, we can see some of the romantic tendencies in this poem. These tendencies are always shared by all romantic poets. The last point to be discussed is a lyrical elements. W.B. Yeats is one of the greatest lyric poets of 20th century England. He was dissatisfied with the reality of the present world and sought escape into the fairy lands. Morgone inspired him to write a number of lyrics expressing moods of different intensity. Yeats met her when he was 23, and this encounter simply transformed Yeats into a great love poet. He immortalized classical beauty and majesty from the lady. His poems now onwards always show Yeats' ecstatic involvement with the lady, and various moods of love, attachment, despair, and frustration find expression in this poem. In this poem, Yeats brings in a reference to his lost love, when he writes, "Have I not seen the loveliest woman born? out of the mouth of plenty's horn, because of her opinionated mind, bartered that horn and every good. Conclusion. The poem is a confessional poem and throws light on the disastrous experiences of the poet. The poet has grown wise by his own past experiences and wants to save his daughter from such pitfalls as are forced by the lovely women stooping to folly, vanity, arrogance, and stupidity. The contrast between the foolish but beautiful lady exemplified by Mordaunt and mature, sober, wise, and sympathetic heart like Lady Gregory is so obvious in this poem. So, students, I have completed the poem A Prayer for My Daughter, which is in the syllabus of BA Part 3rd English Literature, Paper 1st, Unit A. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.